What's up, guys? In today's video, I want to talk about my plan to take my $50,000 stock portfolio all the way to $100,000. Now, I started my portfolio a little over 3.5 years ago with $2,000, and in that time, it's grown all the way to $50,942. But if I would have told people 3.5 years ago that I was going to have a $50,000 stock portfolio and that my goal was to get it up to $100,000, they would have laughed at me, especially considering my job, because I was only making $15.60 when I started my portfolio living with my parents. And in fact, I had told one of my coworkers that I made $20 in dividends in the month of December of 2019, and she laughed at me because I was telling her about passive income and how awesome it is. And now I've earned $200 in dividends multiple times. I consistently earn more than $100 in dividends. So with that being said, I understand the value of a dividend growth portfolio, and I know you guys do. So let's look at my portfolio and show you my game plan to take it to $100,000 in the next few years. So let's just look at it. Overall, I'm down on market gain wise, $577.20. However, I've made over $5,000 in dividends, which is awesome to see. And even if we go over to year to date, I'm down $1,478. However, I've earned $783 in dividends. And I want to say just a couple weeks ago, I was down like $2,500. So my portfolio has come back. However, if you've been watching my YouTube channel since I started it a year and a half ago, my first video was actually revealing my $43,000 dividend stock portfolio. So if we go over there, where is at the beginning of 2022? Yeah, you see that right there. January, let's just start January 7th, 5th, $43,000 for 476. And then my portfolio's been pretty flat for the last year and a half. And that's why I'm only at $50,942. But let's go ahead and look at my activity feed. As you can see right here on May 15th, I deposited $125 as I always have. And then I bought another $132 of SCHD. And then I received that $9.09 dividend from Texas Instruments. And then I had another buy of $50.96 from SCHD. And then I received a $2.74 dividend from Costco, where on May 24th, I had a buy of $11.82. And it was SCHD, of course. And then on June 1st, I received $586 from American Waterworks. But if you notice something, the last time I deposited $125 into my stock portfolio was May 15th. That means I've missed 2 weeks of investing, and that is May 22nd and May 29th. And there's a reason for that. Since my wife and I bought a house at the end of March, I used all of my cash as part of the down payment. And so now I don't have an emergency fund, which is actually really bad. So I've decided to stop investing into my portfolio right now so I can invest into that emergency fund, especially since a few weeks ago I had an emergency, but the alternator on my car went out, and Toyota, they wanted like $860, and that was before taxes to fix it. And then one of my wife knew a mechanic, and they wanted about $300. But thankfully, my dad came in town and he was able to fix my alternator for me. So he bailed me out that time. So that really says I need that emergency fund. Not having an emergency fund is an emergency. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So if we go over to my funding history, you can see that I put $2,675 into my portfolio. And my goal every year is to put at least 6,500. But if you take these last 4 years of dividend investing, I've averaged about $10,900. So I'm above where I need to be. But now I want to go into track your dividends and show you the future value of my portfolio to show my plan on how I'm going to get to that $100,000. So I have a current 5 year dividend growth rate of 8.42%, which is amazing. That is a solid growth rate. I would say 7% is solid, and I'm above that. Now, if we look at my dividend yield, it's 3.55%, which is also, that's a solid yield. I think 3.3% is a safe dividend yield for any portfolio. The reason mine is higher is because SCHD is starting to become the majority of my portfolio. And since SCHD has gone down, their dividend yield has gone up as I've been buying it. And so track your dividends says that my current dividend income for 2023 will be $1,800. And then I want to go over here to the data. I put 11% for my dividend growth rate. So that's just being conservative. It's taking this number plus this number, but I got rid of the extra. So I'm just taking 8% growth rate, conservative number, 3% dividend yield, conservative number, putting it into my annual growth rate. And then I put a price appreciation of 6%. Down here, it says you can be reasonable to expect 6 to 8%. But as I showed you guys earlier, my portfolio has been pretty flat, but hopefully I can get around that 6%. But anyways, if I do absolutely nothing with my stock portfolio at about in about 6 years or 7 years, it'll be at $105,000, $105,810. So this is just doing absolutely nothing. It'll grow to that level. I'll receive about $5,319 in dividend income, which my goal for dividend income in the future is to make six figures. So as you can see, 5,000, that would be about 5%, which is not bad. That's a significant amount. But let's see if I put, and then I just want to show you guys the numbers. If I do nothing with my portfolio in 20 years, it'll be worth $442,361. And then I will earn $39,852 in income by 2042. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to be after inflation. It's going to be worth hardly anything. Now, after 25 years, if I do nothing with my portfolio, I will have almost $1 million. I have $926,000, and then I'll earn 92,630 in dividend income. That's pretty awesome. At this point in time, 25 years, I'd be about 56 years old. And my goal is to retire at 50. Now let's go back and look at the data. If I just put a minimum of $6,000 every single year, so after 5 years, my portfolio would be 111,000. And so that would be one way that I could reach 100,000 is by just putting 6,000 minimum. After 10 years, my portfolio would be worth around 220,000 and I'd earn 12,000 in dividends. And then in 20 years, my portfolio would be around 850,000. I'd earn almost 75,000 in dividends. And 20 years is about the time I'd want to retire completely. But if I just held off a little bit longer, at 25 years, my estimated portfolio value is 1.8 million and I would earn around 181,000. However, if we look at this chart, it looks like in 2044 is when I'd earn $110,000 in dividends. And that's just putting $6,000 a year, which is not that much money when you think about it. And so the last thing I want to leave you guys with is I believe it's a quote from Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett. It's one of those guys. They say that you want to get to $100,000 in your portfolio or in your net worth in general, because once you reach that $100,000, that's when the compounding really starts working in your favor.